We've just in 10 seconds there ruined the Nike advert.
Morning.
It's the smallest camera ever. It's embarrassing actually.
So about a year ago when we started this, we talked about all the pros and cons, well, most of the pros of having a vlog. But I remember you saying to me, it's just going to be great to be able to
look back
at it. We're literally at the point now where we could go back to this week a year ago.
Shall we do that?
Well, I did last night. That's what my fucking notes were.
Perfect.
Well, a year ago today, Frankie Hobbs went on the radio up BBC Ulster.
How do you manage to pull that?
The world has changed. Social is where they find recommendations and is where they find trusted voices.
And Matthew accompanied a hawk to the top of the...
Was that this week?
That was this week a year ago.
So that's a very vivid memory for me of the vlog.
I think it's for everyone.
This is more urgent. You need to snap to. There's a hawk that comes every Tuesday.
I know, I saw it last week.
Jagan, there's a hawk.
I've been in the lift with the hawk.
Oh, for God's sake.
The day has arrived.
Thank you for agreeing to be on our vlog.
Because we'd all wondered for so long, what is it doing?
So yeah, that is literally the extent of it. We literally just look menacing.
Death staring people and pigeons.
Aaron said something, this was quite an early example of me understanding the company a bit better. He said everyone else is saying,
we're going to do this and hopefully this happens. And we're saying, we're going to do this and we'll guarantee you that this happens. That's the difference.
It's very rare for you to be able to understand what's going to happen in marketing, but you know, with certain aspects of what we do, we know exactly what's going to happen. Well, there's creativity and there's media really, and in media you can see exact like for like what's likely to happen or what is going to happen, and in creativity where there's subjective element to it, which is the adverts on TV, you know, big adverts on social. There was a fantastic advert that dropped today actually by Nike.
oh mate.
Unbelievable, but that's subjective, right? Some people love it, some people hate it. Now, obviously, the majority of people will love it, but...
What I think we should do?
What's that?
I think we should try and do our own version of it right now.
Right now?
Okay,
What great timing.
You pretend you're a tennis player, just getting ready for a shot. That's basically how you do it, kids. Easy.
We've just in 10 seconds there ruined the Nike advert. So, media objective, creative subjective, but we believe they should come together a bit more to make that creative slightly more objective than it was before, because you should be able to plan your media at the same time as planning your creative.
Also this week, a year ago, the Great Hack doc aired. So there was all the stuff around Cambridge Analytica.
Have you watched it?
Have I watched what?
The Great Hack.
Who has seen an advertisement that has convinced you that your microphone is listening to your conversations?
Yes, I have, of course.
What do you think? What is the average uneducated man?
Excuse me.
A year on, we're still talking about that exact same thing. We're talking about it with TikTok, not Facebook and voting.
The thing that I found interesting watching back was how sceptical you and Aaron were of the outrage or the inability to see the trade-off between something that you get for free and, oh, what, you're using this data for something.
It's quite shocking to me that people don't realise that they're not giving something away in order to get Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, all these things for free. I can't believe that people haven't understood that there's obviously some trade-off, as there is with everything in the world.
Yeah, I still believe that. I still believe that people are not really thinking about, you know, how these businesses actually work. We, as the user, have given that data consensually. As per every business in the world and every person in the world, they've made mistakes. Like, I'm not naive enough to think that there's a squeaky clean business inside Facebook. But what I do believe is that people should understand that that your data is the price. That's the oil.
I mean, who doesn't want a curated process, right? You want to go on Facebook and just be hit with random stuff, right? All the time, just completely random things. Like, how is that a better experience? I've built social networks, and let me tell you, when they don't have a curated experience, it's an absolute mess.
To be brutally honest, it is one of the hardest things you could possibly put together, because you're so reliant on other people. You're just building a platform, a framework that you hope other people are going to use in the way that you thought they'd use it.
Yeah.
And if they don't, it's a complete disaster. It also comes when there's 2.2 billion people using a platform. You know, there's nothing else like it. The only thing that probably gets close to it is like chip and pin. That is the equivalent. 2.2 billion, what's that? Just, it's like 30% of the world. Chip and pin must be one of the only other things which 30% of the world use in a digital way every day, which has data.
Right.
Everything else is about 1 billion, about 1/7 of the world. You know, when you have that much information, no wonder there's so much fighting about it.
For me, I'm happy to give as much data away as you possibly want in order to give me the best possible experience as a consumer and someone who enjoys using the platforms that have become available in the last few years.
I mean, the solution is turn everything off if you really don't want that. And like, nobody actually wants that. You really want to have a better social platform than Facebook, then go and build one.
And last thing, at the end of that episode, Aaron Shepherd gave Matt a call to action to, well, if you think you can do it better, go for it. Has Matt Wyatt created a better social media?
No, but he has created a community that doesn't like him, which is was probably a more challenging task. So well done for it. We're thinking, you know, unusual for a neighbourhood, but a bit more normal than a toilet. Compost.